Hi everyone, this is Kavita from The Enlightened Heart, and today I want to talk to you about how most of us are able to communicate during this time. So, just like this video, a lot of us have moved on to different platforms that allow us to communicate so that we can see a person versus just the hearing a person's voice on the phone. So there are lots of different ways that people are connecting with video. And so in some ways, of course, that's a great advantage and it's a really good benefit. So you could actually see a person, see their facial expressions. Just something about seeing another human being creates a deeper sense of connection. On the other hand, it isn't exactly the same as meeting in person. So one of the things that I've noticed is the difference is that, for instance, if there's a larger group when you're meeting in person, it's very difficult to even whisper like in next to the person that next to you. It's actually impossible unless you have a chat feature. Um, so, like tell somebody, oh, I really liked what you said. This part of the body is visible, but the lower part is not, so you're not able to see a lot of the other body language, right? So that's a limitation. Another limitation is the inability to sometimes in larger groups be able to see everyone that's attending. And so those are just some of the other things that I've noticed. And then this month I received my Psychology Today, and they had an article about that. And it's actually a pretty long article. It's called Face to Face. And so I'm just going to highlight a few pieces of it today for you. It's so long that I'm actually going to do this video in a two-part series just so we can go deeper into this. Because I do think that technology is a part of our lives, and some of the changes that have been made through this pandemic are going to continue. And so just understanding what's going on sometimes can be a start. Okay, so the first thing is one person in the article talks about it is more difficult to get a person's tone sometimes, right? So this is particularly a classroom teacher and says that when I'm in a class, the students tend to get my tone in a different way, and that they're also able to answer questions, right? So in a different way, they can see the expressions of the others when they're answering the question to almost read their understanding of what's going on, right? So a lot of things that are not able to do. That you're not able to do that like when you do in person. Another thing is that, when you have a classroom and that, you're taking attendance and you're seeing everybody, it's more difficult to disappear, right? And so sometimes it's easier for students and for people in meetings to just kind of like fade into the background, multitask, right? It used to be in a meeting, if you were on your phone, that would be rude and people would eventually notice. Well, sometimes on these platforms, you don't notice if someone's multitasking and really not paying attention, okay? And then the other part of this is that there's a part here where a neuroscientist says our bodies are like polygraph machines. And so our autonomic nervous system constantly monitors our surrounding to keep us out of danger. So without thinking about it, we pick up nonverbal clues to tell us whether a person is interacting as a friend or foe. So our body actually tells us, right? Our heart rate, perspiration, respiration. He called it neuroception. Okay. So this is also used when we interact with people, and it's a way to read a person, to connect with a person. And so even those of you that are empaths and can feel energy, there's a big difference from a virtual connection and in person. Although, I was in a session today that we do sessions over the phone and I could feel her energy through the phone. So it is possible. Obviously, it took a little bit more effort. It takes a lot more of my energy to pay attention. When a person is in the room with me, it happens more automatically, right? And it just as long as I allow it, right? So there's a difference. It's still possible. It's still possible to connect. It's just a difference. So the other thing I want to share with you for today, the last thing is, when you are trying to take in the facial expressions and body expressions of a big group of people, right? That can be exhausting. And so your brain is looking at everybody and trying to read everybody, because that's just how we work, right? And so when you're trying to do that all at the same time, that can be really exhausting. And just like I described, being on the phone and trying to understand and read the person is also tiring. So to keep these things in mind and allowing yourself to understand the differences so that you're kinder to yourself in maybe the amount of time that you spend doing these things. Being aware that there's nothing wrong with you if it is more tiring for you. And these are some of the reasons that they are. So I'll be back with the next video and I'll talk about more of the things that I thought were relevant and helpful for you to know in this article. And in the meantime, this is Kavita with The Enlightened Heart, and I am going to offer you that I have a free download that you can get from my website, theenlightenedheart.pro. It is called The 5 Keys to Overcoming Overwhelm for Empaths and Highly Sensitive People. And it has some great tips, especially for right now. So if you would like to receive that, you just put your email address and you get my monthly newsletter. I get to stay in touch with you. And so it's my gift to you. So you take good care. I will see you next time.